This is the model of thyroid gland. This one, this is the two lobes of the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland, it lies in the anterior part of the neck, just anterior to the trachea, in the lower part of the neck, anterior aspect. Its weight is 25 gram and the dimension is 5 into 3 into 2 centimeter. That 5 centimeter length, 3 centimeter width, and the 2 centimeter is the thickness. It is the highly vascular gland. It is mesodermal in origin. It is the endocrine gland which is easily accessible. It is the largest endocrine gland, and this is the only endocrine gland which depends on the exterior world for its raw material, that is iodine. Okay, so when we look at the gross anatomy, this one lobe, this is another lobe of the thyroid gland. It has got two lateral lobes and isthmus. It extends from the C4 to T1. From the oblique line of the lamina, thyroid lamina, up to the 6th tracheal ring. Okay. And this is isthmus is opposite of third and fourth, second, third and fourth tracheal ring. This lobe, lateral lobes, has got three surfaces. This in red color is the anterolateral surface. In green color, this is the posterolateral surface. And in blue, this is the medial surface, which is facing towards the trachea. So, it has got three surfaces, that is the anterolateral surface, posterolateral surface, and the medial surface. It has got one apex, which is extending up to the oblique lamina of the oblique line over the lamina of thyroid cartilage and below the base. And one isthmus which has got dimension 2.5 centimeter into 2.5 centimeter. Okay, it is enclosed within two capsules. That is the false capsule and the true capsule. False capsule is the extension of the pretracheal fossa. Pretracheal fossa is the one of the deep cervical fossa, which encloses thyroid gland, trachea, and the esophagus, as well as the recurrent laryngeal nerve. This thyroid gland, this is the trachea, and behind it is the esophagus, and the in between there is recurrent laryngeal nerve is passing also. This is the in grey color. In grey color, this is the recurrent laryngeal nerve. It also passes the back of the thyroid gland. So, all these structures are enclosed within the pretracheal fossa, from which the false capsule is derived. And true capsule is the condensation of the stroma of the thyroid gland. Any gland has got stroma and the parenchyma. Stroma is the supporting structure, and the parenchyma is the duct and the lobule. Those are parenchyma. Now coming to the gross anatomy, I have said earlier that it has got two lateral lobe and one isthmus. Over the isthmus on the left side, this is pyramidal lobe. It is present in 55% of cases. And this white wire, it signifies the levator glandulae thyroidae. Levator glandulae thyroidae. It extends from the pyramidal lobe up to the hyoid bone. It is the only evidence that the thyroid is developed at that place and later it descend down. It is the site just behind the tongue. It is developed from the thyroglossal duct, and this is the remnant of the thyroglossal duct as a fibrous structure which is called levator glandulae thyroidae. At the 24th day of the intrauterine life, thyroid gland developed, and it is developed from the thyroglossal duct, and which at a point that is called foramen cecum. Foramen cecum is situated in between the tuberculum impar in front and the hypobranchial eminence. Hypobranchial eminence behind. Hypobranchial eminence or cupola. Okay, and from there it descends down. Okay, so this is the pyramidal lobe. Now coming to the thyroid gland. Now this is the venous drainage. Venous drainage is by the superior, middle and the inferior thyroid vein. This is the inferior one, inferior thyroid vein, and this is the Kocher vein. Kocher vein is present in only 2 to 3% of cases. Okay. Now the venous drainage of the thyroid is by the, this is the superior thyroid vein, which is going to drain in the internal jugular vein. This is the internal jugular vein, and this is the middle thyroid vein, which again is going to drain into the internal jugular vein, and this one is the inferior thyroid vein, which is going to drain into the brachiocephalic vein. This is the left brachiocephalic and this is the right brachiocephalic. Sorry, this is the right brachiocephalic and this is the left brachiocephalic vein. Okay, in both sides it is draining into the brachiocephalic vein. This one, inferior. And in between the middle and inferior, this is the Kocher vein. Sometime present. Okay, in 3% of cases is present, and it also draining into the internal jugular vein. About its arterial supply, it is supplied by the superior thyroid artery. This one is the superior thyroid artery. When it comes close to the apex, it divides into the anterior division and the posterior division. Anterior division run on the anterior border of the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland has got two borders, anterior border and the posterior border, that one. Okay, so one branch is going, posterior division is going posteriorly on the posterior border, and anterior border, this is the anterior division, which is going to anastomose with the opposite side anterior division of the superior thyroid artery over the middle of the isthmus on the superior border. Okay, isthmus has got anterior surface, posterior surface, superior border and the inferior border. Okay, so over superior border in the middle, it is going to anastomose with the opposite partner, and the posterior one is anastomosing with the inferior thyroid artery. Inferior thyroid artery, it is the branch of the thyrocervical trunk. This is the subclavian artery. Okay, this is common carotid. Common carotid divided into external carotid and the internal carotid, and this is the subclavian artery. And one of the branch of the subclavian artery is the thyrocervical trunk, and this is the inferior thyroid artery, which is going to supply the lower 1/3 of the lateral lobe and the lower half of the isthmus, and the upper 2/3 and the upper half of the isthmus is going to supplied by the superior thyroid artery. Okay, and one is the thyroid ema artery. Here is no middle thyroid artery. Okay, one is thyroid ema artery, which is the branch of the arch of aorta or brachiocephalic. In the right side is a brachiocephalic trunk. Okay, or in the left side it is of arch of aorta. One thing I have left, that is the relation of the thyroid gland. This is the thyroid gland. Anteriorly, it is related to the infrahyoid muscle, strap muscle. That is, this is the level from the arch of aorta commences. This is the level of sternal angle. Okay, so from the sternal angle, this is the sternum, sternothyroid. From here to here is the sternothyroid, and from thyroid to hyoid is the thyrohyoid. So these two muscles, all these infrahyoid muscles are known as strap muscles because it is ribbon like. So what is in the anterior relation of the thyroid gland? It is infrahyoid muscle, that is sternothyroid, and thyrohyoid is above, so it will not come in the anterior relation, only the sternothyroid. Then omohyoid, from the hyoid going to the scapula. This will also come in the anterior relation. Omo means scapula, shoulder. So omohyoid, it also comes. And one is sternohyoid. One is sternothyroid, another is sternohyoid. Sternohyoid is from the sternum to the hyoid. So, and as well as the sternocleidomastoid, from the sternum going to the mastoid process. Okay, sternocleidomastoid. All these as family, that is sternohyoid, sternothyroid, sternocleidomastoid, and one O, that is the omohyoid. It comes in the anterior relation of the thyroid gland. And the laterally, this carotid sheath I have only made here only. From the it encloses the common carotid and the internal carotid. This is internal carotid and this is external carotid. External, it divides, the common carotid divides into internal and external at the level of the C6. So this is the external carotid and this is the internal carotid. Internal carotid, common carotid, and the internal jugular vein, and in between this vagus nerve. In between these two there is vagus nerve. Anteriorly there is ansa cervicalis and posteriorly sympathetic chain. This is the carotid sheath in green color. So on the lateral aspect of the thyroid gland, both sides, there is carotid sheath. And in the medial there is two tubes, that is, one tube is trachea, another is esophagus. Two muscle, that is the cricothyroid muscle. This one is the cricothyroid muscle, which arises from the cricoid lamina and going to the thyroid cartilage. So this is cricothyroid, and the inferior constrictor muscle. Inferior constrictor is thyropharyngeus and the cricopharyngeus. From the thyroid cartilage, one slip is going to the lateral aspect of the pharynx, thyropharyngeus, and from the cricoid also going one slip to the lateral aspect of the pharynx, cricopharynx. Both are on the medial aspect of the thyroid gland, medial. Okay, and on the lateral, this is carotid sheath, medial, two muscle, two tube, as well as the two muscle, two tube. Okay, and what next? There is also a recurrent laryngeal nerve. In between the esophagus and the trachea, there is recurrent laryngeal nerve and two cartilages, that is the thyroid cartilage and the cricoid cartilage. So on the medial surface, rule of two is there, that is the two cartilage, two tube, two muscle, like this. Okay, so this is about the relation, and we have discussed the arterial supply and the venous drainage. One thing more in the arterial supply, that is the superior thyroid artery. It is far from this green one. This is what? This is the superior laryngeal nerve. Superior laryngeal nerve is the branch of the vagus nerve which is going to be going to supply the larynx. This is the external branch which is going to supply cricothyroid muscle, and this is the internal laryngeal nerve which is piercing the thyroid membrane and going inside to supply the internal aspect of the upper half of the pharynx. So this is the superior thyroid artery, and this is the superior laryngeal nerve. Both are in close proximity, far from the apex, but near the apex it is at some distance. Okay, far from the apex it is in close proximity, but near the apex it is at some distance. So during the thyroid surgery, we have to ligate superior thyroid artery in the close proximity of the thyroid gland. And if we look the inferior thyroid artery, this is the inferior thyroid artery, it is in close proximity with the recurrent laryngeal nerve. In grey color, this one is the recurrent laryngeal nerve nearby the thyroid gland. Nearby the thyroid gland, but far it is away. Nearby the thyroid gland, it is in close proximity. So during thyroid surgery, we have to ligate far. Just to memorize IFSC code. Okay, that the superior, in case of superior, IFSC code is needed for the net banking. And just to memorize, I for inferior thyroid artery, F for far, that in case of ligation of inferior thyroid artery, we have to go far away. At far, the recurrent laryngeal nerve and the inferior thyroid artery, they are at distance. So it is safe to ligate inferior thyroid artery far from the thyroid gland. IF. SC means S for superior thyroid artery. C means closer to the gland. And we have to ligate superior thyroid artery closer to the apex of the gland, because at this place it is at some distance from the superior laryngeal nerve. Just to memorize IFSC code. Okay. Regarding its applied anatomy, when this thyroglossal duct, it remain patent, and then it will get infected to lead which will result into the thyroglossal cyst, and it become painful with the infection, and it moves with the deglutition. Why the thyroid gland moves with the deglutition? Because thyroid gland, the trachea and the esophagus all are enclosed within a common sheath, that is the pretracheal fossa. That's why the thyroglossal cyst also moves with the deglutition. Okay. So this is all about the thyroid gland anatomy. Thank you.